Welcome to Nooga Radio Outdoors. You're listening on 1240 and 92.7 FM Nooga Radio. That's Chattanooga Radio. I'm Cindy. A complete, absolute pleasure and honor to be your host and outdoor activity, events, and adventure guide for our amazing Chattanooga community. And we have just such a great outdoor hub here, and I just want to be sure that everybody knows all the different ways to connect and get outdoors. And we encourage you to get outside and get more active to lead a healthier lifestyle. And I want to hear about your activities, your events, your adventures, your competitions, your golf tournaments, festivals. So please email me. Email me at nrocindy@gmail.com. That's NRO, like Nooga Radio Outdoors, Cindy@gmail.com. And I will be glad to promote your event, to have you on as a guest or someone that you recommend who can about the events, and encourage participation and spectatorship at the festival, tournament, 5K, 10K, a cornhole toss, whatever it might be. Let us know about it, and we're happy to help get people connected. And I want to let you know who Cindy's choice is for a great catering option, and it's Chicken Salad Chick. And one reason being is not only is it just the best food, it's most everyone that goes there are regulars that once they have it, they're definitely going to keep coming back. But when you start talking about healthy things, I love to promote a really good food that's not particularly a health food, but it's very healthy for you. And that the classic Carol recipe is 0 carbs, 0 gluten, 0 sugar. So that is really hard to find with food that's so good. And a lot of the secret is there's no sugar in the mayonnaise. And I'm a cranberry Kelly girl. All they're adding to that is almonds and cranberries. But today I had the lemon basil with pecans. It's on their new menu.
I had
some
yesterday.
new recipes.
It was really good.
Isn't it good?
Mm-hmm.
So be sure and check out Chicken Salad Chick, Chattanooga.com, downtown and an East Brainerd location. And again, Nooga Radio Outdoors wants to promote and encourage opportunities for change to how people live. Being in your car a lot, being at your desk all day, being stuck in the house with small children, whatever it might be, it's not healthy. You need to get outside. Of course, our kids, our animals, there's a lot of times are a reason to help us get outside. It's not just about finding time. It's not about lack of desire. Sometimes it's very intimidating. It's hard to find the right group or the right activity to connect with. And that's what we're doing here, is introducing you to cool activities and cool people that will help you connect with outdoor activities. And one of those cool people is Miss Kathy Clifford. That's cool, Kathy Clifford. She's the executive director at the new Sculpture Garden, and I'm so eager to hear about that. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm so happy to be here, Cindy. Nice to meet you, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about sculpture.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I'm excited about it. But first, I want to learn a little bit more about you. Are you from Chattanooga?
No, I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Oh, wow. I love that. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm from Texas. I had a lot of Buffalo friends, and I love that because I'm a cowboy fan.
Right.
And
right.
So that was always a lot of fun to hang out with my Buffalo fans.
Right.
So what brought you here? What brought you to Chattanooga?
A job opportunity for my husband. We've been here over 20 years. I absolutely fell in love with it when I first moved here. We raised two daughters here. Great schools, great people, wonderful atmosphere. I mean, just the whole outdoor life has been wonderful.
It does. The outdoor life, it creates a certain culture here that me coming from bigger cities like Dallas, and then I had to go back to Texas for family reasons. And then I spent 7 years in Houston and came back here. And it's just a whole different culture because a lot of it is driven by the outdoor lifestyle. People come here for that.
That's right.
And though I kind of accidentally came here, I also immediately fell in love with it and stayed and had both my children here and so forth like that. So I totally relate. And it just seems like we're talking about in the first half that Chattanooga is just coming quite a little metro.
It's a destination now for people to visit, especially for the outdoor.
And I am so excited. Now, when I first heard about the Sculpture Garden, I got to tell you, I was thinking that they were talking about the Hunter Museum. Because I've frequented that often, especially me being a hang glider pilot. I love that sculpture of the winged person.
It's beautiful. I love it.
It's gorgeous. I love that. So I thought, that's always been there. What are they talking about? And then I started seeing on Facebook. Oh my goodness. And I haven't got to check it out yet. But that's a lot what this show is about, because like I'm just making it easier for me to connect, because I'm connecting with the people. It'd be that much easier to go. So tell us about the sculpture garden.
This is such a wonderful story. Sculpture Fields is located at Montague Park. And I think people that grew up here know Montague Park as a place they played softball. It's got a very long history. It was actually donated to the city by the Montague family over 100 years ago. And at the time, the park was in a pristine, beautiful condition. And somewhere during the 40s, I think it was turned into construction landfill. So history of, and not a great history.
Yeah.
So at one point, they did try to clean it up, and they later used it for different types of recreation. They had kite events there. They had a motocross fields.
Wow.
Softball fields were really what they were most known for. But unfortunately, somewhere during the 90s, things started to surface from that old construction field and construction landfill, and it had to be closed and it had to be cleaned properly. So the Tennessee Department of Environmental Conservation came in 2003, and it was shut down for 10 years while it was cleaned and capped.
Maybe that's why I didn't know about it. Because I came here in the late 80s, but we were here, like there were still major foundries downtown. Right. We were here when the aquarium opened. We were some of the first to, walk the Walnut Street Bridge. So there was a lot of focus on what was new happening there. And I don't remember ever hearing or recognizing that. But I am with such good intentions in the beginning with the Montagues donating this property, thrilled to hear that something like a sculpture park has been able to come up there now.
It is amazing what Chattanooga has been able to do to transform its environment.
Is this a city?
It's still a city-owned park, but we are a private foundation. We are a 501c3. We have a lease with the city to develop this sculpture park, which we're doing in phases. But when I came here, I started to work for a sculptor by the name of Sean Hannity. And Sean Hannity is known internationally. He's a very well-known, renowned sculptor. You will see one of his larger sculptures outside the Hunter Museum, the yellow piece out there called Largo. And there's a piece outside of Chat State, a very large piece, a blue piece. That's one of John's as well. So you'll see some of his bigger pieces here locally, but he does create monumental pieces of art, and you'll find them throughout this country, but in other countries as well.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to see them. And, we follow on Thursdays. We follow the Art Beat of Chattanooga on 92.7 FM and 124080. So I'm going to have to introduce you to Jill. Because it's like that. We can talk about art here because we want to get outside and go see the art. But she has an art audience that would love to hear more about the sculpture garden.
Well, I hope to meet her. It'd be great.
Now, one of the things I liked hearing was that it's pet friendly, dog friendly.
It is. And the park is 33 acres. So we have a lot of space, a lot of walking paths. I was out there this morning taking a walk, just checking on the sculpture. And we have 1.5 miles of walking paths. It is open 7 days a week from dawn till dusk. It is pet friendly. So you see people out there for an early morning jog or just walking their pet. Peace and the quiet. It's just beautiful. It's lovely early in the morning.
Wow, that sounds awesome. And so you said it's 33 acres. All right, so lay it out for me. You show up and you park, and is there a trail? Are there paths or what?
We've got plenty of parking, and you just pull in. We're located on Polk Street, which is off of East Main, right in the south side of Chattanooga. So once you pull in the parking lot, you're at the entrance of the trail kind of connects. There's 4 walking paths that all loop back to the others. So you can start on any one of the trails and just walk through the park and kind of make a loop and walk through all 4 of them.
Okay. And there are restroom facilities?
We currently, we're only been open a year. We currently only have porta potties. We are working on restrooms right now.
Okay. This is all information people need to know before they go. And then, but is this something that people could utilize for their events? Like if the family wants to meet, toss the Frisbee, or
we want people out there enjoying the park. Come and have a picnic, definitely celebrate a birthday at the park. And there's plenty of space to throw Frisbee. We have events that are very family oriented. And we really like to promote those. We had 3,000 people at an event we had just in April this year. So we have a large crowd.
How many people?
3,000 came that one day for our first anniversary celebration.
Nice. Well, with 33 acres, I mean,
Yeah.
that I can imagine it's an ideal spot for a lot of unique type events. And I imagine you get your fair share of runners or joggers and so forth like that.
We do, and we've even had some trainers come out there, jog to
yes.
the park for a workout session with their client. And then they leave, they jog away. And we've also had whole fitness studios come out together. We had over 100 people at one time coming from one of the local fitness centers and just kind of show up. They did a workout. It was really cool. And they just left. And
that's a great thing to promote. There's wonderful places to get outside and get out. That's a lot what the trainers do. I see it all the time because I am outside and active. I see small groups. Sometimes it's just a couple of people with a trainer, but you can tell it's a trainer guided event,
right?
Or you'll see the larger groups. And I love seeing that because it's great. You can do that, in the studio, probably a lot easier. But those trainers are trained in knowing that it's healthier and better to be outside. It's not just how it's healthier physically for us, but the distraction. It's just you feel better outside, and it's like me preferring. It's like versus going to the treadmill to going to a trail. It's like I get bored on the treadmill, even if I've got the earphones in and I'm watching Shark Tank. I can do that for about an hour, but I don't want to watch another episode of anything. But when I go on the trail, I'm distracted. I'm watching the trail. I'm trying to soak in, and it's a lot more enjoyable. And I work a lot harder and cover a lot more ground.
And something unique like the sculpture fields, we have 35 large scale pieces of sculpture on site. So as you're walking through the park and on these trails, you're looking at to engage in the art and see that. And I think people have really enjoyed it, really embraced it.
So, you can make a day of it easily.
Oh, yes. And we have an AutoCast downloadable guide. So if you were walking through the park and you just want to take a leisurely stroll, you can download this free mobile app. And you can hear directly from one of the sculptors about their work that's in the park. And they're all short. They're all maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but they'll tell you about their process, what maybe inspired them, and so maybe a personal story. But you can have a private tour just by walking through the park to do that anytime.
I love that. So you could easily make a day of it. And it just seems, I got to tell you, I'm really anxious to check it out. Now, there's nobody there. It's a park right now.
That's right.
And you've got 35 different sculptures and the great outdoors. It's pet friendly. Now, you said something about that some of these trainer groups, they will walk there or jog. Is there a path that connects with other bike paths or anything?
Currently, we just have one entrance open, and that's right on Polk Street. Okay. Eventually, we hope to have 2 more entrances open, but right now it's just that one entrance. So yeah, they just ride their bike down Polk Street or run or walk and out. And
awesome. Why don't you go ahead, and I'll ask you this for this again later, but why don't you go ahead and give the website info so people can look up and find their way over to the sculpture park?
Right. Just go to sculpturefields.org and you'll find all the information you can. We also have a Facebook site, which I think is what's going on a day-to-day basis. We try to post there very, very frequently.
Awesome. And so you said it is in, it's like first phase of development, or?
Yeah, we decided as the board, and once this vision actually started back in 2000 when John Henry moved here.
Okay.
He had been involved in large, very successful sculpture taking place around this country and saw what it can do for a community, how it can revitalize a neighborhood and bring an economic engine to that neighborhood. So he had that vision way back when he first moved here. And what we decided as we built the board is to make sure that we did it responsibly. And each phase we were able to pay for as we did it before we moved to the second phase and the third phase. We have 3 phases laid out in our plan. We've completed phase 1. And I'll tell you, in that phase, and last year in April, we had 1.5 miles of walking paths. We had, at that time, only 24 sculptures. You can see we're growing.
Wow.
And we had planted 80 trees, developed the landscape. Since then, we're well into 2 and starting phase 3. Sculpture. We have another 12 sculptures coming back this year. We've added 40 more trees. And what we're working on now is phase 3 and the creation of an amphitheater.
Wow. Isn't it amazing how I'm sure it seems like it's been taking a long time, but how you look back and how quickly it's really coming together?
It's coming together very quickly.
Yes. Now, and tell me, how did you get involved with participating in this?
I was very fortunate when I first moved here to be offered a job with Sean Hannity. So when I started working with John, I knew about his vision right from the beginning. I've been with John for over 12 years now.
Well, lucky for you, huh?
It's been great.
It's a nice thing to be a part of. Something, that contributes back to the community so much. That's what I'm about, is making an impact in the community. That's why I love this platform, to support others that are doing so. So tell me about the conservative forest. Let's talk more about that.
We have a commemorative forest.
Commemorative.
I'm sure you're speaking of. It's similar to what you see in Hamm, Germany, called their wedding forests over there, where people will purchase a tree honoring someone's wedding. And here we have a commemorative forest that can highlight someone's life, pay tribute to their life, or celebrate a birth, or honor someone's wedding. So we've actually added 40 trees in the commemorative forest.
Wow, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. And we all know how important our trees are.
That's right.
It's not just, that's part of the reason we're encouraging you to get outside. Oxygen is food. Lori Hooger was on. She's with the Morning Point Foundation, and I love that term. I've been repeating it ever since. Oxygen is food that our bodies need, and you need to get outside and get that good oxygen. And trees play a key part in that.
We need our trees. That's true.
Well, tell me here, what is it? I don't have my glasses on. Tell me what you've got.
And really, in talking with why trees are so important, we partnered with the Chattanooga Public Art on a project, the Blue Trees Project. And I think most people in Chattanooga have spotted some blue trees on through town.
I thought it said blue trees, but I wanted to check with you first, because with me without my glasses on, I go, I might not be reading that right. Is that blue trees?
Yes, there's an artist by the name of Konstantin Dimopoulos who came to Chattanooga, and he has done this in large cities and throughout the country to bring an awareness of the trees so that you visually become aware that the tree is there. So you're not just walking by and not noticing or not appreciating it, because he said in studying trees and concern over deforestation and the loss of trees, he said he discovered that people that live in a concrete jungle, that don't have the opportunity to be around the trees, suffer more depression. So it really does have an impact on our daily life, just being outdoors, embracing nature.
Yes. Something I experienced when we moved here. Well, we first came here in 88, but we moved here in 89. And we lived on Mowbray Mountain in Lewis Chapel, up on the mountain, the first year we were here. Mm-hmm. And we were up in the clouds for weeks. There was no sun for, through the winter, the fall, and so forth, the wet season. And I come from Texas, a big sky, bright, sunny Texas. And I was experiencing some depression, and I'm not, I'm a very extroverted, high energy person. And I'm like, what is going on with me? I'm happy to be here. Why? And it finally dawned on me that I was experiencing some weather depression. Right. And I went and had a tanning bed a couple times, and I felt a lot better. I wasn't getting my vitamin D or the benefit that you get from being outside enough. And today kind of reminded me of that, because when you have those for days on end, it really does affect you. So if you're staying indoors, if you're staying in front of a computer screen all the time, or you're staying in your automobile a whole lot, it's having that same effect on you. It affects sleep cycles. It affects gaining weight, losing weight, your everything. It affects cognitive. It affects everything. And it's very important. Part of the reason I am glad to have this platform is I'm usually very active 3 or 4 days a week just on my bicycle, then other activities. And I'm actually, I let my bike go because it was actually too big for me. I'm real tall, and it's an extra large, and I really need a large. So I'm kind of shopping for another bike, and it's a big decision. This is a bike I'll probably have, for a really long time, maybe, the rest of my life. And I'm not out there because that's my easy activity. I can I can do that by myself.
Right.
I just keep my bike on my truck and there I go. And it's really throwing me off this season. I'm having to work harder to get outside.
Yeah.
And so
a little bit of effort, but it's so worth it. You feel better coming from Buffalo. I know what it was like for long periods of time, not being outdoors. You have to really embrace snow. And I enjoyed it, but not to that extent. We sometimes had over 3 feet of snow to.
Well, I can't imagine. I've always lived in the South, so I just can't imagine. I'm not sure how much time we have left. It's not showing up on the screen like usual, but I do want to remind the listener that you are listening to us on Nooga Radio Outdoors. You're listening on AM 1240, or you may be listening on 92.7 FM. That's Nooga Radio. And I am just thrilled to have Kathy Clifford with me discussing the sculpture garden. Kathy, why don't you give us that information again so people can find that on the website?
Go to our website at sculpturefields.org or check out our Facebook page, which is Sculpture Fields at Montague Park. And we do have other outdoor wonderful activities. I mean, just bird watching at Sculpture Fields is fabulous. We have had some local bird watching experts out there, and they said within an hour, they spotted 22 species of birds.
I'm so glad you brought that up. There's so many creative ways to get outdoors. And, there was a time when I would have thought bird watching, really? But when with my son, that was one of our favorite activities.
Right.
Was we had the book and I was thankful for his grandfather for giving him the book because it gave me the idea to, all right, let's get some binoculars. Let's get out there and find all these birds. And it was a great thing to finding the next bird and checking it off the list. And it was really fun and interesting and educational. And it got us outside.
Got you outdoors. And children, I have a 2-year-old grandson that absolutely loves to be at the park. He gets excited about the big sculpture. We have a very strong education program now. We're working with Hamilton County Schools. So we bring schools out there every day. So they're getting a chance to exercise, get some fresh air, and learn about some art at the same time. And it's just really taken off in our first year. And we have so much more planned for next year. Excited about that.
Man, I'm so excited to get out there. It just sounds like a great outdoor activity. And again, Kathy, I'll have you on plenty. Kathy will be a regular on the show to talk about the sculpture gardens and think of more creative, great ideas and things to do at the sculpture gardens or just outside in general. I just want to remind the listener that Nooga Radio Outdoors wants to promote and encourage fundamental opportunities for change to how people live. And our statistics in Tennessee aren't that good health-wise. So get outside and get active and listen to Nooga Radio Outdoors. I'm Cindy, your host. I'm here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM Nooga Radio. Email me, nrocindy@gmail.com, nrocindy@gmail.com. That's a wrap.